In the news tonight, wife of the state governor, Chief Mrs. Obiano, restates commitment towards assisting the needy and the underprivileged persons in the society. Bishop Ezofor of Agwata Anglican Diocese urges legal practitioners to facilitate quick dispensation of justice. Federal government reassures workers on favorable new national minimum wage. On the foreign scene, 2 former Pakistani prime ministers appear in court for treason. Good evening and thanks for joining us on ABS News. I am Franklin Onyekachi. The news in details. In the Anambra from various walks of life, as well as eminent personalities from within and outside the state, converged on Aguleri, the country home of Governor Willie Obiano, to celebrate Chief Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano's birthday. Correspondent Emmanuel Chibata was at the celebration and filed in this report.
And was heralded with an Eucharistic Mass, and in a homily, the founder of Holy Ghost Adoration Ministry, UK, Reverend Father Emmanuel Obimma, who spoke on the theme, Created to Walk in Dominion, commended Chief Mrs. Obiano for her outstanding performance in the state through her Caring Family Enhancement Initiative, CAFE project. Reverend Father Obimma, who noted that a successful marriage must have Christ at the foundation, described the celebrant as a functional and indefatigable leader who always served God and humanity, urging the people to emulate her lifestyle.
For you to walk in dominion represents to us one key, just a key, and that key is what? Living a life of sacrifice. It is this life of sacrifice that will sustain your marriage.
In her speech, the celebrant, Chief Mrs. Obiano, who appreciated God for adding another year to her life, said she is committed to further support the needy, indigent, and less privileged widows and make Anambra smile, encourage privileged Nigerians to use their wealth in helping the poor. Also speaking, Governor Obiano said that his wife has been a blessing to his family and prayed God to continue to bless their marriage with good health and prosperity, stating that she is a great gift to Anambarians.
I give all glory and honor to God. This event is actually a pleasant surprise. I expected it to be a very quiet day with my family. You know, the day that I will be in seclusion and go over my life and thank God for what He has been able to do for me all these years.
Also speaking, Governor Obiano said that his wife has been a blessing to his family and prayed God to continue to bless their marriage with good health and prosperity, stating that she is a great gift to Anambarians.
It's been a blessing to the Obiano family, and I thank God for his life. I want to wish many more happy birthdays, and of course, for God to continue to bless our marriage in good health and in prosperity.
Earlier in an opening remark, the Commissioner for Basic Education, Professor Kate Omenoa, extolled the governor's wife for her doggedness and steering quality towards the development of the state, urging her to sustain it. In their separate goodwill messages, the Managing Director, Oka Capital Territory Development Authority, ATDA, Venerable Amechi Okwosa, the member representing Idemili South constituency at the State House of Assembly, Barrister Chuka Ezewune, and his Njikoka 1 counterpart, Honorable Timothy Ifediorama, lauded the celebrant for recording indelible mark in the state, noting that the joy of indigent widows in Anambra has known no bounds since she started building free houses for indigent widows and caring for the poor. Others present at the event were the Chief of Staff to the state government, Mr. Primus Odele, the ABS Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Nze Ushenwora, the Commissioner for Transport, Mr. Ushenna Okafo, among others. The event was capped with cutting of birthday cake, presentation of gifts from family members, friends, and well-wishers. From Aguleri, in Anambra East Local Government Area, I am Emmanuel Chibata, reporting for ABS News.
The Anglican Bishop of Agwata Diocese, Right Reverend Samuel Ezofor, has called on legal practitioners to always ensure quick dispensation of justice in order to decongest the nation's prisons. In a sermon at the Cathedral Church of St. John Epulobia in Agwata local government area during a service of admission and induction of a 9-member Agwata diocesan legal team led by its Chancellor Justice Pete Obiora, Bishop Ezofor described constant adjournment of cases and conflicting judgments as the bane of the nation's judiciary. We have details.
The bishop charged the judiciary to aspire to live up to its role as the last hope of the common man. Bishop Ezofo, who stressed the need for the three arms of government to work for the overall good of the people, described judiciary as the pillar of the nation's democracy and called on judicial officers to abstain from delivering judgments that will cause confusion in the society. He described the church as a platform through which the people can relate with their creator and stressed the need for its sanctity to be maintained. Bishop Ezofo, who said that every good gift comes from God, called for collective efforts of the clergy and the laity for more robust evangelism.
God cares for his church. He cares for the growth of the church. He cares for the well-being of the church. That's part of the reason why God decides to attend to the church by providing for the church what it needs.
Presenting the 9-member legal team, Justice Ijem Onwamwebu stressed the need for Christians to always use their individual profession in working out their salvation. In a remark, the new Chancellor of Agwata Diocese, Justice Pete Obiora, who thanked the bishop for giving them the opportunity to serve the diocese in their various capacities, promised that they will live up to expectations.
The calls for examination of our individual lives, for whosoever advise or assist must first examine himself to know whether he is competent and able to render advice.
The Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Professor Carol Arinze Umobi, and the Dean, Faculty of Law of the University, Professor Mishak Umenweke, will serve as first and second deputy chancellors, respectively, in their new legal team. The event was attended by 6 High Court judges, 4 magistrates, the academia, and a one-time registrar of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Sir Ngozi Anyakaora, as well as the immediate past chancellor of Agwata Diocese, Sir Harford Ejem.
The culture of Isiago community in Awka South local government area recently came to the fore as members of the community celebrated their 2018 New Yam Festival with pomp and pageantry. The event held at the palace of the traditional ruler of Isiago, Iwe Augustine Nwankwo, attracted prominent personalities, government functionaries, traditional rulers, captains of industries from the state and beyond, heads of ministries and agencies, as well as sons and daughters of Isiago community, who came in various traditional attires to celebrate their culture. Details from our studio.
The New Yam Festival of Isiago community commenced with the traditional breaking of the kola nut by the royal father of Isiago, Iwe Augustine Nwankwo, who subsequently performed the traditional cutting of the new yam, which marks the commencement of the general eating of the new yam by all members of Isiago community. In his speech, Igwe Nwankwo stated that yam, as one of the major cash crops cultivated in the community, is especially revered because it does not only sustain them, but yields huge proceeds to the farmers. Hence, its celebration as the king of all crops. The Isiago monarch noted that the celebration is also a time to thank God for a bumper harvest and called on his subjects to seize the period of celebration to embrace peace and good neighborliness, as no society can progress in an atmosphere of rancor and bitterness. Governor Willie Obiano, represented by the SSA on chieftaincy matters, Barrister Vera Okonkwo, congratulated Igwe Augustine Nwankwo for celebrating the New Yam Festival as expected in Igbo culture and tradition, pointing out that Isiago community is one of the communities that supported the governor's second-term bid and has always keyed into the agricultural pillar of the state government. traditional ruler of Nibo, Igwe Michael Ongene, who spoke on behalf of Okasa Local Government Area Traditional Rulers Council, commended the people of Isiago for rallying round their royal father to move their community forward.
Oh my government in action, wherever that is here. Now when you were Anambra State, in particular, of the South local government, I'm a
Some dignitaries at the occasion, including the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of ABS, Nze Uche Nwora, and the Managing Director of Anambra Housing Corporation, Professor Uche Asike, represented by the Director of Estate Services, Mr. Anthony Nwafo, extolled Igwe Nwankwo for promoting and preserving the culture of Isiago and urged him not to relent in providing an enabling environment for Isiago to move forward. Others who spoke at the occasion include the President General of Isiago Community Union, ICU, Mr. Luis Okeke, and the ICU Women's Wing Chairwoman, Mrs. Grace Okolo, the Chairman of Isiago Cabinet Chiefs, Chief Sunday Ozumba, the Palace Secretary, Barrister Ben Nwankwo, and the Palace Public Relations Officer, Honorable Willie Okoli, who felicitated with Igwe Isiago and the entire community for gathering together to celebrate their ancient culture. Masquerade display, cultural performance by the women, agricultural exhibition, and the conferment of chieftaincy titles to deserving sons of Isiago, Chief Innocent Nchezo as Ikenga Isiago, and Chief Martin Nwajago as Abalanze Isiago, represented by Barrister Ben Nwankwo, featured at the ceremony, while royal dance round the arena by Igwe Nwankwo, accompanied by Igwe Zike of Nibo, amidst cheers from the audience, added a royal ambience to the occasion. From Isiago in Okasa Local Government Area, Njide Ezonyejak reporting for ABS News.
The Anambra State Police Command has nabbed one Chibeze Kalo of number 9 Silas Works Road, Fege, Onitsha, for allegedly breaking into the Attorney High Court and stealing some items from the facility. Anambra Police spokesman Haruna Mohammed, a superintendent of police, in a statement said that the suspect was caught by police detectives attached to Attorney Division on 29th day of September around 8 a.m. He listed the items stolen by the suspect to include 2 LG standing fans, 1 Panasonic standing fan, 1 Elepac generator, 1 Sumo, 1 Thermofrost air conditioner, and 4 split unit air conditioners. He said that the suspect will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. In a related development, the PPRO also announced the arrest of 2 suspected cable vandals following intelligence reports. The 2 suspects are Henry Akabogo from Osuatuegu village in Osu local government area of Imo State and Innocent Oji of number 8 Emenike Street, Okpoko. According to Haruna, police patrol team attached to Okpoko Division in conjunction with Okpoko Vigilante Group arrested the suspects and some exhibits which were recovered from them, including 70mm armored cable and some working tools used in committing the crime. He explained that the suspects specialize in vandalizing transformer installation cables and have confessed to having committed the acts at Banana Junction in Olu local government area of Imo State, though the case is under investigation. The federal government on Sunday said it will soon address the agitation for the upward review of the national minimum wage in a manner that will make workers and all Nigerians smile. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, made the promise in Abuja. Mustafa, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary General Services Office of the SGF, Mr. Olusegun Adekunle, said the present administration is sensitive to the plight and wishes of the masses. He said by the time the issue of the minimum wage would have been adequately addressed, the entire nation would be better off for it. Mustafa also admitted that Nigeria needs prayers and support of churches at this time in the nation's history, more than any other time. He said while the government was working hard to address the nation's challenges, the church should continue to assist the government with prayers. Meanwhile, the federal government is set to announce the new minimum wage as the tripartite committee completes its assignment. The outcome of the tripartite committee has been submitted to President Muhammadu Buhari. Mr. Ayuba Waba, president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, made this known while speaking with newsmen today in Abuja. According to him, the committee used 2 days to reconvene and deliberate on a new minimum wage that was acceptable to all employers of labor in the country. And on business news, as part of efforts to promote financial inclusion and enhance access to financial services for low-income earners and the unbanked, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is proposing the establishment of payment service banks in rural areas across the country. This is coming as the Apex Bank says it may alter the amount it has ordered South African telecoms firm MTN to refund to Nigeria for illegally repatriating funds from the country. To this end, the CBN has released the draft guidelines for the regulation of the proposed banks. A major difference between the proposed banks and the defunct community banks is that the new rural banks will not be allowed to grant any form of loans, advances, and guarantees. By the guidelines, they are expected to have a minimum capital base of 5 billion naira with capital adequacy ratio of 10% or as may be prescribed by the CBN from time to time. The objective of the proposed institution, it was gathered, is to enhance financial inclusion in rural areas by increasing access to deposit products, payment and remittance services to small businesses, low-income households, and other entities through high-value transactions in a secure, technology-driven environment. In terms of structure, the payment service banks are expected to operate mostly in rural areas and unbanked locations, with not less than 50% physical points in such areas. In addition, they are expected to establish ATMs in some areas, be at liberty to operate through banking agents, use other channels, including electronic platforms, to reach out to its customers, and establish coordinating centers in clusters of outlets to superintend and control the activities of various access points and banking agents. Also, the guidelines provide that these rural banks are expected to be technology-driven and are expected to conform to the best practices of data storage, security, and integrity. According to the central bank, activities they are expected to undertake include maintain savings accounts and accept deposits from individuals and small businesses, which shall be covered by the deposit insurance scheme. An investigative television journalist has been raped and murdered in Bulgaria's northern town of Rus, according to officials. The body of 30-year-old Victoria Marinova, whom authorities identified only by her initials, was found in a park, according to Rus regional prosecutor Georgy Georgiev, who said her mobile phone, car keys, glasses, and parts of her clothes were missing. He explained that she was killed by blows on the head and suffocation, adding that prosecutors were probing all leads, both personal and linked to Marinova's job. Interior Minister Ledin Marinov later confirmed to journalists that the victim had also been raped. Prime Minister Boyko Borisov expressed hope that the investigation will succeed because of the work that has been done, noting that with the large amount of DNA material collected, it is just a matter of time before the perpetrator will be found. Police sources told newsmen that the crime did not immediately appear linked to her work. Two former prime ministers of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif and Shahid Khaqan Abbasi, facing allegation of treason, have appeared before a court along with a prominent journalist in a hearing to determine whether the case should go to trial, and the hearing was adjourned until October 22. The case related to an interview Sharif gave to the media in which he was quoted as suggesting the Pakistani state played a role in the militant attack on the Indian city of Mumbai that killed 166 people in 2008. India has repeatedly accused Pakistan intelligence agency of helping the Lashkar Taliban militant group carry out the attack. Pakistan has denied any state involvement, but its inaction against the leaders remained a major stumbling block to improving relations between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. The journalist who conducted the interview had faced arrest if he failed to appear before the court and had been barred from leaving the country. Both the arrest orders and travel restrictions were removed today. Sharif was removed from office last year by the Supreme Court over corruption allegation and was sentenced earlier this year to 10 years in prison. Abbasi replaced his party leader as prime minister before an election earlier this year brought former Krita star Imran Khan to power. Sharif has denied wrongdoing and accused the military of using the cause to orchestrate his removal and destabilize his Pakistani Muslim League Nawaz party to pave the way for Khan's election victory. Both the military and Khan deny that. And on sports, Governor Willie Obiano has approved the participation of the state contingent to the 19th edition of the National Sports Festival slated for Abuja between 6th and 16th December this year. The State Sports Commission, in response to this, has concluded arrangements to organize state trials for the different sports in which the state will feature at the festival. The sports include athletics, badminton, basketball, boxing, chess, cricket, deaf athletics, deaf table tennis, football, and handball. Others are hockey, judo, karate, kung fu, para-athletics, para-table tennis, powerlifting, Scrabble, table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, volleyball, weightlifting, and wrestling. A statement signed by the chairman of the State Sports Commission, Mr. Tony Oli, said the trials will be conducted on senatorial basis with Anambra North coming up on the 22nd of this month, Anambra South on the 23rd, and Anambra Central on the 24th, while the final statewide trials will be between 26th and 27th October. He stated that various venues for the trials will include Rojeni Sports Stadium for track and field events, Dr. Alex Ikweme Square in Oka for combat sports including taekwondo, wrestling, karate, kung fu, and judo, amongst others. Justice Chuba Ikpeazu Stadium Onitsha is the venue for chess and Scrabble and table tennis, while Newi Sports Club will host badminton. The statement said that trials will be organized for male and female athletes between 17 and 30 years. And that's the size of our news package. But remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging onto our website at www.absradiotv.com. Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABSRadioTelevision. Follow us on Twitter at ABSRadioTV. Now the main points again. Wife of the state governor, Chief Mrs. Obiano, has restated commitment towards assisting the needy and the underprivileged persons in the society. She was speaking at Aguleri during a ceremony to mark her birthday. Bishop Ezofo of Agwata Anglican Diocese has urged legal practitioners to facilitate quick dispensation of justice. Federal government has reassured workers on favorable new national minimum wage. And on the foreign scene, we told you that 2 former Pakistani prime ministers have appeared in court for treason. And that's the news. Thanks for watching. I am Franklin Onyekachi. Good night.